In this video, I've put together my personal list of the most realistic survival games that are set to release in 2026. Some of these games are quiet and atmospheric, others are brutal and unforgiving, but all of them are trying to push realism in their own way. If you're tired of simplified survival games and want something that feels raw, dangerous, and immersive, this list is for you.
Using transportation services.
Honeycomb is shaping up to be the kind of survival sandbox that quietly pulls you in and then reveals far more depth than you initially expect. After crashing on the alien planet Soda 7, you play as a bioengineer whose survival depends on exploration, experimentation, and understanding an unfamiliar ecosystem. The game places a strong emphasis on studying alien flora and fauna, decoding their properties, and even crossbreeding plants and animals to unlock new abilities and survival strategies. Base building and resource gathering form the structural foundation of progression, but what truly defines the experience is the constant push to experiment and discover. The atmosphere balances scientific curiosity with the raw tension of surviving in the wild, and with a planned release in early 2026, the game is currently in its pre-launch phase, steadily building wishlist momentum and community interest.
And analyze every plant I encounter until I find that perfect spot. I'm the first person that laid eyes on these wonders. Yes, I need some help here.
Everwind is an upcoming open-world sandbox RPG survival game that blends cozy survival systems with a strong sense of vertical exploration and wonder. Set in a world of floating islands, the game gives you a flying island ship that serves as both your home base and your primary means of travel. You gather resources, craft equipment, explore distant skybound regions, and uncover hidden mysteries scattered across the clouds. Optional co-op allows you to share the journey with friends, turning exploration into a collaborative experience. The developers have made it clear that Everwind is being built with long-term evolution in mind, emphasizing community feedback and gradual refinement, with an early access release planned for the future rather than a fixed launch date. Railborn is a survival crafting adventure built entirely around one central idea. Your train is everything. It is your home, your workshop, and your lifeline in a broken world. Instead of simply finding a train, you construct it piece by piece, designing individual cars that house power systems, farms, and production modules while traveling across a vast rail network that cuts through multiple environments. The core gameplay loop revolves around scavenging resources, managing water and energy, and cultivating rare plants to keep your moving ecosystem alive. The experience can be played solo or in co-op with up to 4 players, allowing teams to expand and optimize their rolling fortress together. Ongoing development updates highlight systems like the Nexus, which functions as the brain of the train, along with regular playtests focused on exploration flow and building mechanics. Outbound has become one of the most wishlisted indie games on Steam, and its popularity comes from its calm, pressure-free take on survival. Set in a utopian near future, the game begins with you owning nothing more than an empty camper van, which you gradually transform into a fully functional off-grid home. You scavenge materials, craft tools and workstations, and experiment with modular upgrades to customize your vehicle exactly how you want. There are no enemies and no combat, with the focus placed entirely on exploration, gardening, and energy management using solar, wind, and water systems. Optional online co-op for up to 4 players allows for shared journeys without disrupting the relaxed tone. With over 1 million Steam wishlists, Outbound enters its launch year backed by strong community anticipation. Solarpunk presents a bright and hopeful survival sandbox set across floating sky islands in a world powered entirely by renewable energy. Instead of combat-driven pressure, the game focuses on building, farming, and sustainable living using sun, wind, and water. You can construct bases, grow crops, design automated energy systems, and eventually craft and pilot your own airship to explore distant floating lands. Drones help automate tasks, energy grids can be customized to suit your settlement, and caring for plants and animals plays a central role in progression. The game supports both solo and cooperative play and has seen active development updates focused on improving controller support, farming mechanics, multiplayer stability, inventory management, and airship controls. To ensure proper polish, the developers officially delayed the release into 2026. Road to Vosto is a gritty and unforgiving hardcore survival FPS set in the post-apocalyptic wasteland between Finland and Russia. Survival here is defined by tension and realism, as you scavenge supplies, manage a limited inventory, and carefully plan your route toward the dangerous Vostok Zone, where death can mean losing absolutely everything. The world is dynamic, featuring day and night cycles, changing weather, and harsh seasonal shifts such as brutal winters. Hostile bandits and militarized forces guard key crossings, turning every journey into a calculated risk. The gameplay blends realistic FPS mechanics with deep survival systems, including shelter building, trading, weapon customization, and high-risk exploration. Black Frost. The Long Dark 2 is the official sequel to the survival classic The Long Dark, developed by Hinterland Studio, and it expands the original formula into a deeper, more RPG-focused survival experience while preserving its harsh and unforgiving tone. Officially announced at the Game Awards in late 2024, the game is scheduled to enter early access in 2026. The story takes place 1 year after the mysterious Aurora event and opens up much larger regions, including industrial areas and urban wilderness, moving beyond the isolated backwoods of the first game. Core survival mechanics like scavenging, resource management, and environmental threats return, now enhanced by new systems such as NPC communities, psychological survival mechanics centered on a will-to-live concept, horse travel, and optional co-op multiplayer alongside solo play. Windrose is a pirate-themed survival adventure that was originally known as Crosswind before being rebranded in late 2025, a shift that also marked a major change in direction from a large-scale MMO to a focused survival experience. You begin the game as a freelance sailor betrayed on your first job and thrown into a procedurally generated open-world set in an alternative age of piracy. Gameplay blends naval and land-based survival as you command ships ranging from small cutters to massive galleons, engage in cannon battles, boarding combat, and boss encounters, and establish outposts to gather resources and craft equipment. The world is vibrant yet hostile, emphasizing exploration, freedom, and constant danger as you carve your own path through shifting seas and rival threats. Terminator Survivors is an open-world survival game set years after Judgment Day in the iconic Terminator universe. You explore a devastated world left in ruins after Skynet's nuclear assault, scavenging for supplies, rebuilding fragments of civilization, and struggling to survive against deadly machines, including relentless T-800 units. The project was initially announced with base building, co-op multiplayer, and early access in mind, but later underwent a major redesign. It is now being reworked into a single-player survival experience, with co-op and early access elements removed entirely. This shift has resulted in an indefinite delay, with no new release date announced, leaving the focus on atmosphere, exploration, resource management, and tense encounters as players uncover more about Skynet's lingering influence.
Now it's time to be back in the light.
Light No Fire is a massive fantasy survival adventure sandbox from Hello Games, the creators of No Man's Sky, built around a procedurally generated planet the size of Earth itself. The game blends survival, exploration, crafting, building, and RPG elements within a fantastical setting filled with diverse biomes, ancient ruins, and hidden secrets. Unlike its sci-fi predecessor, the focus is entirely on a terrestrial world, where players explore deep oceans, towering mountains, and vast landscapes while crafting gear, building settlements, and surviving environmental hazards and wildlife. Multiplayer plays a central role, allowing players to explore, build, and survive together in a shared world, while solo play remains fully supported. Originally expected to enter early access in 2025, the game was officially delayed into 2026, so the team could expand content and refine systems following internal changes and public controversy. Subnautica 2 is the highly anticipated underwater survival adventure sequel from Unknown Worlds Entertainment, set on an entirely new alien ocean world filled with vast biomes, unfamiliar creatures, and deep mysteries. Built using Unreal Engine 5, the game aims to deliver more immersive visuals and environments while preserving the balance between beauty and fear that defines the series. For the first time, Subnautica will support optional co-op for up to 4 players alongside the core single-player experience. Initially expected to enter early access in 2025, the game was officially delayed into 2026 to allow the developers to add more biomes, vehicles, tools, story elements, and creatures, with the team emphasizing long-term quality and refinement ahead of release. Rooted is an upcoming post-apocalyptic survival game developed with Unreal Engine 5 and set decades after a global collapse caused by bacteriological warfare. Nature has reclaimed the world, and survival depends on exploration, scavenging, and long-term planning as you move through dense forests, ruined cities, and evolving environments. The game supports solo play as well as online co-op for up to 6 players, allowing flexible approaches to survival. Players can salvage old technology, repair and craft tools, fortify camps, automate systems such as electricity generation, and confront both wildlife and rival human survivors. Rooted emphasizes emergent survival over linear quests, with progression driven by exploration, restoration of machinery, and base expansion. The project is currently in early development and alpha, with early access and a release date still unannounced. Ferocious is a dinosaur-themed survival FPS adventure that recently launched on PC and stands out with its aggressive blend of survival, action, and tactical systems. You awaken on a hostile prehistoric island populated by dinosaurs, mercenaries, and rival forces tied to a ruthless corporation seeking to exploit the ecosystem. Combat combines fast-paced gunplay with exploration across jungles, ruins, and predator-filled landscapes. What sets Ferocious apart is the Dino Control device, which allows you not only to scan dinosaurs but also to command certain creatures, turning them into weapons or strategic tools against enemies. This mechanic adds a unique layer of strategy, merging survival tension with high-energy encounters. State of Decay 3 is the next major entry in Undead Lab's zombie survival series, and aims to be the largest and most ambitious installment yet. The game focuses on expanding community-building systems, emergent storytelling, and cooperative survival within a larger open world. First announced years ago, the project has gone through a long and careful development cycle, with no official release date confirmed. Industry speculation suggests a possible 2027 window. The game is expected to utilize Unreal Engine 5 and introduce new systems such as wildlife, evolving zombie threats that react to player behavior, and flexible shared world co-op, reinforcing the series' core idea that survival is about sustaining communities rather than individual heroes.
We live on.
Guardians of the Wild Sky is an ambitious survival crafting adventure set in a magical world of floating islands, where exploration, construction, and creature companionship define progression. You captain an airship that serves as both transport and mobile base, traveling across cloud-filled archipelagos and forming bonds with powerful magical beings known as Guardians. These creatures assist in combat, exploration, and survival, and can be fed, nurtured, and even bred to unlock new traits and abilities. Modular building systems allow for the construction of anything from small sky cottages to massive flying castles. The world features diverse biomes, hidden caves, and ancient ruins, with co-op play supporting shared exploration and teamwork. Permafrost is a brutal open-world survival RPG set on a frozen, post-apocalyptic Earth, where a cataclysmic event has locked the planet in eternal winter. Survival revolves around scavenging scarce resources, crafting tools, and building shelters designed to withstand extreme cold, violent blizzards, and shifting weather conditions. The game supports solo play as well as online co-op for up to 4 players, allowing teams to endure the frozen wasteland together. Along the way, players encounter other survivors, rival factions, and dangerous wildlife, and can rely on a loyal canine companion to detect threats and carry supplies. Exploration leads through buried cities, icy forests, and treacherous caves, with player choices shaping how each survival story unfolds.
Ended not in flames, but in silence and frost. Permafrost. Wishlist now.